Real Housewives of Atlanta season 8. I don't remember what episode this is, but it's probably episode 9, I think. The episode is on Mr. World Premiere.tv if y'all want to go check it out. But y'all, let's just get into this, okay? I'm gonna go out of order, but shit, I'm pissed with this damn Kenya's family. Okay, so Kenya told y'all my hair is fucked up, and as I go, it's probably gonna push. So Kenya is in Detroit. She's on the bus with Aunt Lori, Brandon. I think that was it. So she's all, having this family reunion. Aunt Lori is sitting there talking about how she is Kenya's mom's sister and that she went to high school with them. They talking about what's the best high school, yada yada yada. And Kenya goes on to say that Aunt Lori does not want to be in the middle of her and her mama. So I'm thinking, okay, if I don't know, if somebody that was close to me was being a deadbeat to their kid, I would have something to say. I would. I don't give a damn. You my sister. I'm gonna tell you like it is. That shit ain't cool. So her being like, well, I don't want to be in the middle. That's a red flag to me. So, anyways, so they go to the hotel, and Kenya meets her dad and his wife and Kenya's nephew. Because everybody has come, the dad didn't want to go to Detroit. He hadn't been there in so long, but he wants to go to Detroit or whatever. Well, I mean, they all came to Detroit to support Kenya. And so Kenya said that, that her mother's side of the family is all supposed to be there. They're on the bus riding to, I guess, the family reunion, and they start talking about how Kenya, really just wanted her mom there, and her Aunt Lori won't even give her the number to call her mom. So she was like, I'm just gonna try one more again to go see if she'll accept me, see if she'll talk to me, something. And he's like, look, her dad, look, I've tried a million times, okay? I told you when you were 5 to just let it go. I've told you over and over again, just let it go, because, I mean, she don't want nothing to do with me, and she don't want nothing to do with you. And then they go on to, he says that he would really like to see Kenya's grandmother, her mother's mother, because she always welcomed him, and she was very nice. But as for her grandfather, okay, he ignored her, completely ignored him, act like he didn't exist. And she was like, well, do you think WL, I guess that's his name, is the reason that my mom does me like that? Do you think, that she got that from him? And he was like, well, I'm going to tell you like this. WL, I believe that's his name, or LW, whatever it was, said that he didn't want no, well, the father said illegal. She was like, illegitimate. He was like, yeah, no illegitimate kids. And so, she gave you away. And Kenya said that her grandmother had been taking care of her, had raised her. Her father's mother had raised her, because her mother was going to give her up for adoption. And so at 3 days old, her mother gave her to her grandmother. So I'm like, this is Kenya's mother's side seems to be a fucked up family. Okay, that shit ain't cool. I get it. back in the day, you know, having kids out of wedlock, it just was the wrong thing to do. But it is what it is. You gotta like accept them. I'm not with that. That shit not cool at all. So she did her mother. Gave Kenya away, ignored her, act like she never even had a child. Basically, so she can get that acceptance and love from her own father. So I'm just sitting here thinking, like, this is truly fucked up. After all these years now, Kenya's damn near, 45 years old? And they still treat her like she don't exist. So Kenya ends up telling them, look, we here. So she goes to her mom's house. She don't want the cameras following her. She ends up walking in, and not walking in, walking up to the door, knocking like, hello, it's Kenya. And then you hear a door lock. And she was like, I heard you lock the door. I would really like it if you let me in. Hello, this is Kenya. Can you please let me in? I just want to talk to you. She's banging at the door, and her father's like, let me off the bus. I gotta go get her. Enough is enough. He goes get her, and he was like, look, I told you this is what was gonna happen. She was like, I know, I'm not shocked, but this was my last time trying, so she doesn't want to accept me, then that's fine. I've already, she said she heard her mother say, don't open the door. That's some fucked up shit to me. Real fucked up. So anyways, they go to the family reunion, which is at her dad's sister's house. Believe her name was Lisa, Aunt Lisa. And, they all got on like pink shirts. I guess they was supposed to say Kenya's family reunion, since everybody's there for Kenya, basically. And she says that her mother's side of the family is supposed to be several people that's supposed to come. So she goes in, they all, they having fun. Then they get up, she wants to say, her father says a speech, that his mama's still there, he happy, all about that. And then she goes into how, she's glad that everybody came out to support her, and she appreciates it, and she feels the love. And then she looks around and she's like, well, where's Aunt Lori? And her Aunt Lisa is like, well, Lori left. So afterwards, she goes over to the table with some family members and some friends of the family, and she's like, so anybody know what happened to my Aunt Lori? And they like, well, you're gonna have to ask Aunt Lisa that. And then I guess Lisa's friend was like, well, I know what happened. So they go walk outside, and she tells her that Lori got a call, and she got pissed off because of some visitation. And Kenya was like, yeah, I want to go see my mom. And she was like, well, when she got that call, she left. And Kenya's pissed off, like, she knows how important this is to me. Why would she just leave? And I'm like, it's real fucked up. That is really, I'm disgusted. Now, before, I was all for Aunt Lori, or like they, Funky Dineva say, Auntie Cisco. But for you to support your damn sister on neglecting her child for all these years, you don't want to be in it. Tell her, look, that got to do with you and Kenya. I don't want to hear about it. So you gonna leave because your sister said that her daughter showed up to the door wanting to talk to her. Okay, we see how you do. So I'm disgusted with Kenya's mother side of the family. It's just ridiculous. It's tasteless. It's tacky. All of the above. So, anyways, so she tells her aunt's friend that she went to her mom's door, and she was like, she didn't answer. She locked the door. right in my face. So you know what? I'm done. I'm done trying to reach out to her. So Kenya, I kind of knew that it wasn't gonna go. She wasn't gonna get an answer. But that's just so tacky, and just to find out that her mom's family is supporting her on that, that's even more fucked up. Nobody from Kenya's mother's side showed up to that reunion. Nobody. It's real fucked up. So, anyways, moving on from Kenya. Um, Candy, she's going out shopping with Mama Joyce, looking for baby cribs. Mama Joyce talking about how she want a baby crib for her house, and she's like, "What?" And the lady's like, "Well, yeah, grandmothers get cribs too." She was like, "Okay, well, I mean, you ain't do that with Riley, so I guess Mama Joyce is trying to make up for her time or whatever that she didn't spend with Riley, with her grandson." I'm kind of shocked. I thought she was close with Riley. So, uh, Mama Joyce asked Candy, "What's going on with you and Phaedra?" And she was like, "Well, I thought we were good, but then she told somebody, she told Portia and somebody else that we fell out because she owed Todd money. So I'm just like, I'm good on her." And Mama Joyce was like, "Well, I want to talk to her." And she's like, "What?" "Mama, no. Mama, don't do it. Don't do it." And so Mama Joyce gonna do what Mama Joyce wants to do. So she goes to Phaedra's office to talk to her, and once Phaedra hear that Mama Joyce is there, she's like, "What?" And she comes in and she asked her how the boys doing. She was like, "Okay, so how are you and Candy doing?" She was like, "Well, we had miscommunication, but that happens in relationships, so we're fine now." She was like, "Oh, okay, so I heard that you were talking stuff about Todd and Candy to somebody else." And she was like, "Well, no, that was Don Juan who blew it all out of proportion." She was like, "Okay, well, you know how I feel about my daughter." And it kind of came off as a threat. And she was like, "Well, I just really like if y'all just smooth this out. Candy has been there for you a lot in the past, and she does think highly of you. So I just really like if y'all smooth this out." And Phaedra's like, "Yeah, well, we did, she was there for me. She was definitely there for me when I had my kids, both of my kids. And, so I would like to be there for her." Then Mama Joyce asked her about planning the baby shower, and they start planning. So I'm like, okay, that looks like a brighter future, but when I see your ass on here on these damn confessionals, and you talking all this shit about Todd, how do you think y'all gonna have a good relationship if you keep throwing shots at Todd, who is not talking shit about you? You just, like, come on now. Stop it. So, she goes and meets with Todd about the video. And Todd was like, "Well, I know Mama Joyce didn't talk to her. She didn't show it on up. But maybe I owe Mama Joyce a percentage for getting my money here." So she's watching the video and she's liking it, and then she sees some polka dots and she's like, "Why does it look like that?" And I guess the assistant or whatever explained to her why it looks like that. And now she's talking about how she's not happy with how the video looks, but she gonna pay him anyway since, she got many jobs and he ain't got no coins. Like, come on now. That shit is not cool. And he's sitting there, genuinely sitting there with her, talking about how, Candy has a C-section coming up, and, he doesn't have to look at it, and the doctors are just gonna hand him the baby. And she's like, "Oh, okay, well, yeah, I had it. It's fine. They had to dig a little deeper in me. But, I stayed up or whatever. But," and then they show her screaming or whatever. And, To me it seemed like they was cool, but when she go here on this confessionals and she talking so much shit, I'm just like, for real, come on, don't be fake now. So, anyways, if for those who may not know, Candy has had her baby Wednesday. Yeah, she had her baby today. I came back into Atlanta. So she had her baby Wednesday. I saw pictures with Phaedra there at the hospital. So maybe that's a start. But Phaedra, you gotta stop that shit talking about Ty like that. One, he ain't that damn broke. So, he ain't broke. He got TV shows that he produced for. Okay, his own TV show with Carlos King, the other producer of this show. So come on now, stop trying to play him. Who else? Portia. Now we gonna get to Portia a little later. We're gonna talk about Cynthia. Cynthia's on here, and only part I seen her on here is when she's in the closet with Noelle looking for something to wear, cause she's like, "Well, Peter called me, and he said that, we're going somewhere. He hasn't told me, but he just said wear something sexy." And I'm like, are you telling your daughter this? I mean, I'm grown now. Me and my mama had a conversation, but I don't want to hear that shit. She was like, "Oh, okay. Okay." And then she was like, then they start going into relationship advice, where Noelle starts saying, "Well, you mad at him or whatever," but Cynthia's like, "Well, I was, but we gotta work it out, so we're trying." And Noelle was like, "Okay, because I do one and done. I might give you a second try, but that's it." And I'm like, okay, once again, this is a little awkward. Who has relationship talk with their daughter that is 15, 16 years old, and she lives in the house? That shit was just weird to me. And then to tell her, what I'm thinking is like, okay, where is Noelle going to go while she goes out of town? Has they not set up some place for her to go? But then, okay, it hit me. Maybe she's 16 in Georgia. That shit is legal. That's weird to me. Anyways, so she ends up saying, "Well, when you just single and you young, you can just say, you have a little boyfriend. You just tell him, all right, it's done, it's bye. But no, when you married, you gotta try a little harder." So, anyways, Noelle was helping picking out her some sexy clothes. That shit was weird to me. Anyway, so that was it for Cynthia. Now, Portia. Portia is working out. Girl, you better go ahead. I need to jump in this gym. I'm just waiting for all the people in there right now to leave. You know how people do their New Year's resolution, and then a few weeks later the gym be like completely empty after it's been crowded the first few weeks of the year. So I'm waiting for more space. But anyways, so she's in there working out. Her sister Lauren walks in and she asks her, why you not working out with me? She's like, well, I'm sick. Then they go into about how Lauren wasn't at the office to sign for these packages. So now Portia got to pay a couple $100 just to get these packages. And Lauren is like, well, I'm pregnant, so I'm working from home. And then they start arguing about how she don't need to work from home. And Lauren is like, I do need to work from home. Why can't I? And to me, it's like, maybe they don't need to be working together. Okay, because, shit, my hair look a mess. Because you gonna sit here and argue this much over her being pregnant? And Lauren, it's kind of early in your pregnancy for your ass to not be at work. So, I don't know. I just feel like they don't take each other as serious being as professional as they should be. And I just think, shit, maybe they need to go ahead and go their separate ways. But Lauren is like, I'm here, I'm working, running your businesses, and you ain't, you know the difference in what you get paid for your businesses and what I get paid. And she was like, well, yeah, that's what you set businesses up for, so you can make all the money. And Lauren was like, well, still, I'm doing all the work, and that's just because, that's just so nobody will steal money from you. And I'm just like, yeah, it seemed like to me that both of both of them are kind of like resent each other or something. So they end up later on going to talk. Portia goes to Lauren's house, and Lauren is like, "Are we about to argue?" She was like, "I don't want to argue with you anymore." Portia had talked to Phaedra, and Phaedra told her, well, she's going through, different hormones, and, stuff is a lot for her right now. So Portia's trying to be more understanding. So they sit down, and she was like, well, I really want to know is why you hid your pregnancy from me, why you didn't tell me. She was like, well, it's not like I wanted to hide it, but it was like, I mean, you in your situation where you're not even, you don't have any kids, you had a miscarriage, and you are basically on a time limit. She was like, well, I mean, it doesn't bother me as she's throwing all this food down her throat. And I'm like, yeah, it bothers you. So she was like, okay, and are you gaining weight? She was like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm stressed. I put on a few pounds or whatever, but it's fine. And then she was like, okay, because just 3 years ago, you wanted to have kids. You were trying to have kids. You were married and stuff like that. And I see you have a divorce and you going through a lot. She was like, okay, well, I did want to have kids. And it is weird for me to see my little sister, going through these phases before me. But, I'll be fine. My career is going good, so this is the life I chose. So everything will be okay. So they decide they just gonna try to be nicer to each other. They gonna try to be more understanding. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. But that's it for this episode. That Kenya situation, that had me pissed off, though. Not Phaedra. Yeah, Phaedra was pissing me off, too, with her confessions. Portia and Lauren was pissing me off with their shit. But, I mean, it was cool. So, like, share, comment, and subscribe. I told y'all how my hair would do. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Jazz Chapman. And follow me on Instagram at Jazz_Chapman. And peace, be easy.